We will be discussing the MBA in Business Intelligence and Data Analytics. Now let's start with an icebreaker. Now tell us in the chat box, how do you prefer to view your entertainment? Do you prefer an OTT platform like Netflix or Prime? Or do you prefer the good old-fashioned cinema theaters? Or even watching on your television at home?
Okay, we've got our answers. OTT.
OTT, interesting. Do we have
Netflix.
anybody who
Watching
enjoys?
on my phone.
Do we have anyone who enjoys buying tickets, going into a theater with their popcorn and a soda? So far, the results are overwhelmingly towards the OTT side, right?
Cinema for sure. Netflix. Mobile. That's quite an interesting variety of answers. Oh, we've got Netflix fans there.
You're in for a treat. I am
Okay.
also a Netflix fan, so I can understand.
Netflix with popcorn and soda. I think that's the
That is nice. That is better.
answer.
Yes. So let's move on. We will have to address the question of how important data is for business. We keep hearing it everywhere around us, but what is the level of importance that it actually holds? Can a business survive without data? We'll answer that with a case study. If you're familiar with Netflix, you might know the story. Do you know this brand? Does anybody know this brand? Ruchika, any answers?
Not yet. No.
Interesting. Do you know this
Okay.
brand?
Yes, I see a few yeses in the chat box now.
That's interesting. You know the story I'm about to tell you. Now, I'm sure
Okay.
everyone must know Netflix. We've already spoken about our love for Netflix. Now, there is a very interesting story between Netflix and this company called Blockbuster. Now, back in the 80s in the US, Blockbuster was dominating the market in entertainment, especially for people who prefer to watch it through DVDs. Now, Blockbuster was a rental service, so customers would go to a physical store and they would rent DVDs for a specific number of days, go home and watch it, and then return it. Now, the problem was for every day that you're late to return your DVD, you would have to pay a $1 late fee. Now, this was actually the majority source of Blockbuster's revenue. So they were really benefiting from it, but obviously customers were not happy about it. And one such customer named Reed Hastings actually got so irritated that he decided to start a startup company that was an alternative to that. And that startup company is what we now know as Netflix. Now, to combat the issue of late fees, what Reed Hastings did is that he made it a subscription service. So customers would pay a fixed amount every month and they would get DVDs delivered to their doorstep. And the reason was Netflix actually did not have the budget to compete with Blockbuster because they actually had 9,000 stores across the US alone. They were huge. They were worth $6 billion at that point, right? But now today, just a few decades later, nobody knows them, right? Very few people know them at all. So what changed? And the answer is data. Now, 3 years after opening its doors, Netflix was actually in a lot of trouble. They were going very close to being bankrupt, and they had actually approached Blockbuster with an offer. They said that if Blockbuster buys Netflix for just $50 million, Netflix will actually take over Blockbuster's online streaming because the company was sure that customers will go on to prefer online streaming over DVDs and theaters, right? But Blockbuster was so confident in its already successful business model that they refused to accept that offer. They did not buy in Netflix. And just a few years later, they realized what a terrible mistake they had made. By the time they actually realized that people preferred to watch movies online, every one of their competitors had already entered the market and gained a stronghold. And one by one, with every poor leadership decision that started with its refusal to accept data, Blockbuster went from being at the top of the market to being worth $0 today. There is only one store open in the US of Blockbuster, and that is open purely for nostalgia. Netflix, on the other hand, is now dominating that market. The company that was to be sold to Blockbuster for just $50 million is now worth more than $2 billion today. So data can quite literally make or break your company. It can be the difference between success and failure. This graph here is a great example where the blockbuster valuation at one point was 8.4 billion, and Netflix exceeded that by leaps and bounds a few decades later. Now, how does Netflix not only get to the top, but stay at top? Because even with companies like Amazon Prime and Hulu and Disney Plus, Netflix still has an edge in the game. And the first answer is collecting user data. Now, our Netflix fans will know exactly how they do this. When you sign up to the service for the first time, they will actually ask you to pick 3 movies and 3 shows that you will like so that they can tailor their suggestions and their recommendations according to what you already like. This is my Netflix screen. I'm exposing myself here. So Netflix knows that I enjoy Korean content and I enjoy documentaries, criminal documentaries, because that is my discipline, right? So that is the majority of the content that I get recommended. And it is accurate because I've already watched a lot of these shows. Another thing which you might have noticed is this little percentage over here. Now, when you look at a show, Netflix will tell you how likely you are to like that show. It will tell you that that show is a 97% match to the kind of content that you already consume, which means that you are far more likely to have an entertaining experience with the shows that they recommend to you. The second thing they do is customized marketing. This is very interesting. Now, you might be familiar with Netflix originals or Netflix TV shows and movies. These are content that are produced by the Netflix company itself. Now, what Netflix does is that they produce 10 different trailers for each Netflix original that they put out. Now, they already know what your viewing preferences are. And so they will recommend to you the trailer that is suited to your viewing taste. One example of this is the show House of Cards, which you might be familiar with. House of Cards had 10 different trailers that were developed. And for example, if you watch a lot of female centric content on your Netflix account, you would get recommended the trailer that focused on the female characters of the show. And that is how they would tailor their recommendations to every one of their viewers. The next thing that Netflix does is predictive analytics. Now, you might be familiar with this screen, the top picks in your Netflix homepage. These are shows that are recommended to you based on your viewing preferences. The Netflix algorithm will look at what you have watched and then predict what you are likely to enjoy based on that. Now, again, I have a lot of crime content, I have a lot of Korean content, I have a lot of Indian content. This is very common with the kind of content that I consume. So you can see that this algorithm is pretty accurate. Now, the last one is content analytics. This is to do with the content that Netflix chooses to invest in, like the Netflix originals. Again, you might be familiar with the first ever Netflix original named House of Cards. Now, how did Netflix decide to invest in this show? That is also due to data. There were 3 key points that made Netflix decide that House of Cards is a worthy investment. Firstly, there is a British version of the show already out, and that was very successful. So we know that viewers are already enjoying the show. The second fact is that users who enjoyed the show also enjoyed similar movies from the director of House of Cards named David Fincher. The third data point is that users who watched British versions of House of Cards also enjoyed movies that were acted in by Kevin Spacey, who stars in House of Cards, and David Fincher. So this was a data gold mine where we have viewers that are enjoying all of it, all those points. Now it is time for a poll. Ruchika?
Absolutely, Sheza. The poll is right there on everyone's screen. So the question for the first poll is, if you were starting your own business, what importance would you give the data? And it's a single choice, so you all have to select or pick one of the following options. Highest importance, which means data for every decision. Combine data with human judgment, that's the second option. And less on data, more on intuition, that's the third option. Or the last option is only gut feeling, no data. So please select one option amongst 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Sure, I will repeat the options. First is highest importance, and it's gone from our screen. Yeah,
The data is in.
the data. Yes, the data is in for the question. So the first option, highest importance, Sheza has got 49% data for every decision. That's amazing.
Okay,
And
the next
second,
is the highest.
second
Combined
is 51%. Yes, combined data with human
judgment,
judgment.
which is a good call. I will agree with you on that. Now let's move on to our next topic. Now let's get a little bit more detailed. Data can help you detect trends, just like Netflix detected that the customers will prefer online streaming over blockbusters, physical stores. Data will help you improve decision making. It will help you understand consumer preferences. It will help you to analyze and revise strategies. You can access consumer feedback. Netflix is again a good example. If you go watch a show or a movie and then give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that is a way that Netflix understands whether you've liked or not liked the show. Another way is if you have started a show and just not completed it, left it in the middle, that is also data for Netflix to understand what you prefer to watch. Another thing is to optimize resource allocation and spending. Another example of this, again back to Netflix, is the show House of Cards, where they did not invest a lot of money into marketing the show because they already knew that the show had a good viewer base and there was already a good potential for it to succeed without the extra money being gone into marketing. Data can also help you improve organizational longevity, the lifespan of your venture, which again Netflix is a great example of. Now let's look at a bit of data, empirical data. Now, companies that use data were found to be 23 times more likely to get customers, with 6 times more likelihood of getting to keep your customers, and you are 19 times more likely to generate a profit, with 62% of retail companies saying that data insights give them a competitive edge in the market. So, if you want numbers to support your love for data, we have data for that as well. Now, let me go to introducing ourselves. We are UniAthena. We are an edtech organization that was founded in 2019. We focus on offering affordable, flexible, and convenient upskilling options for professionals across the world. We are under Westford Education Group, which is a leading provider of education to professionals for the past few years. We have over 10 units through which we cater to various audiences in the education sector. These are some of UniAthena's partners who you can see are very reputed, very respected, and at the top of their game. These are some of the best European universities in the world. But you might be still wondering, why should you study with UniAthena? That is a fair question. First thing is, you get to choose your program's duration. For selected master's programs, you can choose to complete them in 9 months, or you can choose to complete them in 36 months. So it entirely depends on what you prefer to do. The next one is affordability. Higher education is expensive. There is no doubt about that. So we want to make it as affordable for you as we possibly can. So you can pay as you progress. So when you complete one module, you can pay for that module and then start the next one instead of paying the entire sum at one time, which makes it very, very financially friendly. The next part is a global classroom. We at Athena have students from across the world. So when you join us, you are joining a global classroom with professionals across the world who can give their valuable insights and help you to broaden your understanding of your domain. Now, how do you learn with UniAthena? It's very simple. You will have video tutorials where you will see our experienced faculty explain concepts to you in a very simple and easy way. You will also have essential readings, which will go into detail about that topic and give you a broader understanding at your own time. You will also have advanced resources, which you can access if you are interested in broadening your understanding of that topic. Now, to understand if you're eligible for our Masters in Business Intelligence and Data Analytics, you should either have a bachelor's degree or you should have a level A qualification plus a 3-year or more experience in a management position. So you can either have a degree in a bachelor's degree or you must have a level A qualification along with work experience of at least 3 years. Now, MBA in Business Intelligence and Data Analytics is a triple certification program, meaning with one program, you can get 3 certificates. You will obviously get your MBA degree in Business Intelligence and Data Analytics from GMU, Italy. You will get a PG diploma in Business Intelligence and Data Analytics from Cambridge International Qualifications, UK. And you can optionally get a certification for Certified Manager from Chartered Management Institute, UK. Now let's discuss our first learning partner. GMU Italy is actually recognized by the Italian Ministry of Education. They follow the European learning system and they hold U multi-rank classification. Cambridge International Qualifications is one of the most reputed professional awarding bodies in the UK. They offer credit-rated programs under SCQF and they're approved for progression to higher qualifications. So CMI is an opportunity for people to get professional recognition for management and leadership roles. So you can join a community of highly reputed and professional managers, and you will also be backed by the Royal Charter, as in the body is backed by the Royal Charter. Now, these are the modules that you will be learning if you choose to go for our MBA. You will be covering topics like leadership, HR, project management and implementation, finance, business analytics, of course, its applications, and a final capstone project. Now, what does learning with UniAthena look like? What is the journey like? So you will begin with enrolling, and after enrolling, you will be getting a orientation. And you will also be assigned your personal tutor. Now, after that, you will be engaging with our SCE executive on a daily basis. You will gain our support from our ACADS team for every single module assignment and submission. After you submit your assignments, they will be evaluated. And after that, you will be going to your next module. You will complete your series of modules in this way until you reach the capstone module, where you will be giving your final dissertation. Now, once your dissertation is given, your course is completed, you will gain support regarding collecting your certification. You can then claim your certification and you will have finally earned your degree all with the comfort of your own time and space. Now, this is what our LMS looks like. So when you join our MBA program, you will be getting a video tutorial, which is delivered by our expert faculty. These are the essential readings that you will have to go through. This will help you consolidate your understanding of the topic and go into more detail about it. And this is the reference material that you can go into so that you can again broaden your understanding, consolidate your knowledge, and just improve your overall skill. Now, you will have additional resources which you can explore if you're interested. And over here, I would like to hand it over to our head of admissions, Fatima Razi. Ruchika, is Fatima available?
Yes, Fatima is there with us.
Great. Now I will hand this over to Fatima, the head of admissions at UniAthena.
Yeah, hi, thank you, Jeza. Hello, everyone. Now, a payment structure, we have a very easy, affordable payment plans which we have. In fact, you can pay as you progress in your program. You can pay per module, pay for one module, then move on to the next, pay for it, and then so on. But again, now we are launching another structure, payment structures, which will very soon be live for us, which is a fixed schedule plan, wherein you can pay in monthly installments. So you can pay an initial small amount of registration fee, and then you can pay monthly in installments. Now, these both the structures at the moment, it is a paper module program which is available to you, except some programs, and rest of it would be like pay in installments. Now, once you have paid for your program, you can pay the degree certification fee and claim your certificates. So you need not pay the entire fee upfront. You just have to pay per module or pay per installment. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay, an early exit award. In case somebody has to exit in the middle of a program, what do you do? So, for example, you are pursuing some program in some university, and God forbid something happens, you cannot afford to pay, you have to move, on in your job, you transfer to some other location. So then you'll have to drop the program. Now here we do not have, you can claim an early exit award, and whatever course modules you've completed, whatever portion of the modules, the program you've completed, you can claim an early exit award for the same. So you can just, pay the certification fee and claim a certificate for whatever number of credits you have completed. Okay, can we have the next slide, please?
So
Thank you,
here
Kamal.
we would like to invite one of our current enrolled learners to this program. Her name is Gladys. Gladys, are you there? It appears that she is not in attendance. Ruchika, could you please confirm from the chat
Let me,
box?
yeah, sure. Let me check, Sheza.
It appears that she could not make it today. So we will move on.
Yeah, unfortunately, she's not there with us, but
We will
yeah,
move on with the program. Now we will open directly to questions. So please, whatever questions you have, now is the time to ask us. You can put your questions in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and come to the mic and ask your questions. So Ruchika, if anyone has raised their hand, please do let me know.
sure. Please feel free to ask questions, anything. And yes, to answer a few generic questions, you all will get the certificate of participation on your registered email ID. You all will be able to access the recording for the same on our website, also on our YouTube channel.
Hi, Ruchika. If some of the questions are there in the chat box or in the Q&A box, you can just read them out. We'll try to, respond to as many as possible here during the
Sure,
time
Yeah.
which we have.
sure. So, I have a question. Please, how much fees for the 3 modules is one of the questions. I will read more.
How much fees for the 3 modules? Now, the specific amount is not, I'm not aware of the specific amount, but I will ask the support team to answer your question in the chat box. But of course, whatever questions you have about the course specifically, you will also get your answers from our website, or you can email admissions@uniathena.com, where you will get a response.
Okay, we have a question about admission requirement and payment process for the same. So, Fatima ma'am, if you can answer this, please.
Yes.
Admission requirement and payment process.
Yeah. Okay, now admission requirements. You need to complete your application form, submit your documents, which would be a bachelor's degree and from an accredited institution. If you do not have a bachelor's degree, then we would require you to submit your A level or equivalent certificates. Or if you have a higher diploma, whatever, like you can submit those academic qualifications along with a proof of managerial work experience for 5 years. So you need to submit us like an experience certificate from your employers. It can be one or more of these certificates, like you worked for 2 years in one organization, 3 years in another one, or whatever. The total aggregate experience should be 5 years in a managerial capacity, in a managerial role. So if you can enter either through the academic route, or you can enter through the experiential, like mature entry route. These are there. And then the fee for, you can, as I said, that you can pay per module or you can pay in installments. So when you're paying the, you just need to pay the fee for the module which you are joining for, and you can start the program. If in case you're going for the pay per installment structure, then you need to pay the registration fee. and the first installment and commence the course.
Rishika,
Right.
I think there is
Mission has raised his hand, has raised their hand. Yes, please.
You can come to the mic and ask your question.
Yes, Mission Mante, if you can please ask your question. Okay, I don't think we can hear him very well.
There is an issue with the audio. If that is the case, do ask your question by typing it out in the chat box.
So there is a question, can we pay as we progress with each of the modules?
Yes, of course. You can pay for a module when you do it and then pay for the next module when you do that. It is easier on a financial front.
There is a question from Gifty Angel. How will I pay if I want to enroll from Ghana? So, Shiza
Yeah,
or
see,
Baki.
I'll just let you know, you can pay by card or you can pay by a bank transfer. So if you want to pay by card, you can use, mostly we accept credit card, sorry, but sometimes some debit cards are also accepted. So you can either pay by card directly for the whatever module you're enrolling for, or you can pay, you can ask us for an invoice. We'll send you an invoice. You can ask your bank to transfer that amount. So we have these two options available for payment at the time.
Okay, now I think Umar, Umar, you have a question? Umar, you can ask a question.
I think while waiting for people to come to the mic, we can address the questions in the chat box.
Okay,
Rishika?
so there are questions such as, do you offer programs like healthcare assistant and related courses?
Healthcare assistant, you say?
No, healthcare assistant we are not providing. I think there are certain programs in the short courses which we have. Those are free learning courses, certification is paid. So you will find some healthcare related programs, but healthcare assistant is not one of those programs.
We have some short courses on healthcare management, which you can complete for free, and they are very highly, useful courses. So please, you can try those out.
Okay. Then we have a question from David asking, this is a business intelligence related question, Sheza. How do we apply business intelligence with data analytics for a business which is already failing?
Well, from what I understand, I believe that it will depend on the condition